Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Corner at 124. I'm Dwayne Hulett. Justice Keene is alongside, and Justice, for the second year in a row, it is time for us to do the Macomb-Western Holiday Tournament Bracket Reveal Show. You were here last year, had a lot of fun doing it last year, and we've seen the bracket, obviously.
Yes.
Some pretty good matchups.
Really good matchups. Man, it feels like we just got done with last year's tournament, and, man, that year went by really quick. Basketball season rolling by, and, of course, this is the night that every team here awaits, and really good crowd this year, plenty of coaches, and we got an exciting program planned for you here tonight, and looking down the bracket here, there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, 10 or 11 coaches, I think, going to end up being here tonight, so that's awesome to have all those guys. We're going to bring them on one at a time. We're going to take a quick break here in just a few minutes, and when we do, what we're going to do is we're going to bring back Jerry Kramer, and you know Jerry very well. Everybody from Macomb that's in the sports knows Jerry very well, but he's the president of the Holiday Tournament Committee, and they put a ton of work into this deal.
They do, and I don't think people realize how much goes into this. I mean, the Holiday Tournament Committee meets every single month out of the year. And really the planning for the 78th tournament began the day after. It begins during the tournament and contacting new teams to see, who's going to be in. You're looking at who's going to be powerhouse next year, and the committee did a phenomenal job getting some old faces back in the tournament and some new as well, and kudos to Jerry and the committee, and looking down the bracket, it's going to be an exciting night for these teams.
Yeah, Blake Boehner put a lot of work into that, and he said you see behind us, we've got this Johnny McKee from Sports Corner put this together. So as we're talking, we're going to pull these off so you'll be able to kind of see a little bit if you want to on your big screen TVs, if you're watching, which I apologize if you're looking at me on a big screen TV. But at any rate, you'll be able to kind of follow along. But he said, I want one of these made for me for next year, so when I move people around all the time, because you don't know where they're going to end up, right? And so I can appreciate that greatly. So we're going to take our first break. We'll be back with Jerry Kramer from the Macomb-Western Holiday Tournament Committee right after this. You're watching the Reveal Show live from Sports Corner at 124.
It was the community that really drew me back to Macomb. I'm from a small community, and I'm from a farm family, and ultimately I always wanted to practice in a place like that, and I felt that I had the ability to connect to people who with a similar background from me, and the fact that the staff members at the hospital and the support, all the support staff at the hospital was also focused with the goal of patient care. It felt like it just all came hammered at home for me.
And welcome back. Just that fast, we have Jerry Kramer. If you've been around Macomb, you've seen this guy all over the place. Lately, you've seen him in Moline a lot, it sounds like. But,
true.
But he's spent a lot of time at basketball games throughout their area through the years. And Jerry, as we're looking at this bracket, which they can't see the release yet, but, man, it looks like it's going to be a great tournament.
Well, we hope so. I mean, we hope that every year, of course. And, it's early in the season. It's hard to really pinpoint number 1 through number 16, but we do the best we can do and put it out there and hope for a good tournament.
Well, you've changed things, you update things as the years go on, right? This has been going on a long time, 77 years.
Yes.
And so obviously a lot of changes happened during those years, but you've added a few things and changed a few things this year again.
A couple things I would like to mention about this year. We have changed the bracket order for the tournament. In the past, we've had 3 and 4 sessions a day. This year we're going to 2 sessions per day. We're going to have 4 games starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, running through till approximately 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll break for an hour, start again at 4 o'clock with the second 4 games of the day. And hopefully the goal there is to get out of the place a little earlier in the evening than we've been doing. So we hope we can get everybody home at a decent hour.
Well, you were doing that. That's an awesome thing. Plus, you got another good 3 days this year, too. It is right after Christmas, but you got a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
We're very fortunate to have Western Hall for the weekend. I mean, that's, of course, always your best draw to end up on Saturday, of course, with the best attendance. So that won't always be that way, but this year we're fortunate to end on Saturday this year as well.
So as you go into a tournament, we're getting down to crunch time, right? Things amp up for you guys as well as you get ready for this. You've been doing this for a number of years now, but do the butterflies start a little bit as the days get closer and closer to the tournament?
You start waking up at night, did I do this, did I do that kind of thing, but everything falls into place, and we've got a really great committee. Everybody's pretty much been on the committee for several years, so everybody knows their role and what to do. And again, we're fortunate to be able to use Western Hall, and they're very good to us as far as setting things up and working through the facilities. So there's still a lot of last-minute things that need to be done.
And there's days, as the days go on at the tournament, things come up too, right? And those tournament committee members, when the tournament gets there, they're in charge of a certain thing, but everybody just seems to come together so well, and whatever little problem happens, you guys just take care of it as quick as you can.
Yeah. Everybody's got everybody's else's cell phone number, so we're in communication throughout the tournament. All the committees there, from 7 o'clock in the morning till hopefully not 11 o'clock at night, but it's been that way in the past. But we put in a full 3 days, and hope everything works well.
You guys have some new teams this year. BPC is back in the tournament after a long drought. I know that you guys are happy about that.
Yeah, you always like the local teams to come in, but simple fact that they'll bring fans, and of course that's where our revenue comes from, is our ticket sales. So, and then money goes back, pay the bills, and goes back to the teams as well. So, we're pleased about that. We've got 2 other teams coming in too, Peoria Christian and Mercer County, new to the tournament. So we're hoping they bring some fans as well and bring some competition.
Has Peoria Christian or Mercer County ever been in the tournament before?
No, neither team has been in the tournament in the past. So new to the tournament, we'll see how it goes.
It's new to the tournament, and you get to see some new teams, and people from the area get to see some teams that maybe they don't normally see too, right? That's what's cool about this tournament.
They get an opportunity to see some teams, that they, like you said, that they've probably not seen play. So, but I know now with streaming, it's a little easier to see.
right.
See teams play, but anyway, we're looking forward to that.
All right. Well, I think I'll let you off. Anything else? Oh, well, the ticket deal. We want to talk about that, right?
I want to mention this year we're able to sell a app to put on your phone for the tickets for the tournament. So it just amounts to showing up the first day. They'll take care of you right there at the front counter and get you on the app if you want to do that. Along with that, we've been asked over the years to have a tournament pass. That will be allowed this year through that app on your phone. So if you want a tournament pass, that's available this year as well.
And a tournament pass doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is nice to be able to not have to wait in line to buy a ticket or something. You just use your pass. And
if you're going to be there all 3 days, it'll save you a little money at the same time. So, it's a good situation. Another thing we're introducing this year, we're going to do a school sportsmanship award. That will be awarded at the end of the tournament on Saturday night when the other awards are given out. So something new to the tournament. We decided we want to do something like that, so we're bringing that forward this year.
As you work through, and you always get ideas, and guys see a tournament and you add ideas, is that kind of the hardest part of this deal is trying to stay up with the times, so to speak, and you're adding, we've added the reveal show, you've got a great website, you're now adding ticket sales online, and you just keep adding things, and you have to do that, I suspect, right, to make to keep the tournament relevant and new.
I think so. I mean, times change and things change, so you try to keep up with the times. We're always open to the coaches for comments from them. What can we do to make it better? Every year we ask all the coaches, or we try to ask all the coaches, what can we do to make this thing better? So that, and we take their comments back and study and decide what we're going to do the next year.
I know you've talked about how good the committee is a little bit in our talk here, but you get a lot of stuff's pointed at you about when stuff goes good. But it takes a whole lot of people, right, to make this thing work, and a whole year's worth of effort from a bunch of people. How great is that group of people that come together to do this thing?
Well, again, we've got a group that's been together quite a while. Most of our committee's been with us for several years, so everybody kind of fits in. We start in January, building for next year. I mean, we'll sit down in January, decide what worked well and what didn't, and then we'll go through the year. We'll meet several times during the year to look at our situation and decide if we want to make some changes or if we leave things alone or what will make things work the best.
Well, Jerry, I'll let you out of here. Hopefully it wasn't too painful for you. You had to miss last year's deal, so this year you get to be on the show.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I appreciate that.
That's a plus. We're happy to be here, and we're ready to show everybody what this 2024 tournament looks like.
Ready to get it rolling.
Are you ready to see it?
Yes, definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
We'll be right back after
Thanks,
this, live from the Sports Corner at 124.
Over the years, we've told you about the benefits of choosing Spoon River College.
Affordable.
Transferable credit.
Career ready.
A culture where students feel like they belong.
Wow, that brings a tear to my eye. And while all these are true, there seems to be one thing that, well, sticks. So let's give the people what they want to see.
Enrollment is now open.
And welcome back here, all by myself for just a second, as we are ready for the seed reveal. As this goes, we reveal the top 4 seeds. So they rank the top 4 teams, they separate those 4 teams, and then they build the bracket around that. So our first seed reveal will be the number 1 seed of the tournament, and this year's number 1 seed is West Hancock. The Titans of West Hancock, that's Warsaw and Hamilton, or Warsaw, Nauvoo-Calusa and Hamilton. And Jeff Dahl, the head coach of the Titans, is here, so we'll let him slide in here and talk to us for a few minutes. We'll just do it right on air. Come on in here, Coach. Coach Dahl is with us now, and number 1 beside West Hancock has to feel pretty good, doesn't it?
It does feel good. It's pretty fun to see our name there.
You got a good group of kids. I know that maybe you don't have the biggest roster or the deepest roster necessarily, but you got a good group of 7 or 8 kids, it sounds like, down there at West Hancock.
We do. We have some kids that have worked extremely hard to get themselves ready to play a really big role in what we do, so it's been really fun to watch them, their roles develop, and watch them get better as we go on.
You still, you're a 2A school, but you're not a huge 2A school.
No.
So you still have the young kids mixed with the older kids. You're going to lose a few key players after this year, so you want to make some big things happen. But you got some good young kids that are playing key roles for you too, don't you?
We do. Off our bench, Jordan Crowley and Braden Hurt have been really good this year. They've really taken the role and grown in it and handle the challenge of coming off in pressure situations and helping us.
What's the key for you guys as you go into this tournament? You've had a good early season. You played in a different opening season tournament, which got you against some much bigger schools. You only lost one of those games against 3 and 4A schools, so that had to be a good start to the season for you.
That was, every game there was close, and that's what I wanted. I want us to be, experience adversity early, and then once we experience that, how do we handle it, and then we can grow in from there. And we lost our first game to Jacksonville. They won the next 2 and ended up winning it. And, it was a tough tournament, but it was really good for us.
You've got a couple kids, and Siegfried is, I think, probably going to be a big key for you guys, isn't he?
Yeah, Lewis is he's improved a lot. I mean, this year he scored before a lot of points with taking a lot of shots. This year he's super efficient. He's had 2 games where he scored 20 and 18 on 7 shots. He's learned how to play in the game without taking a lot of shots, just playing it and letting it come to him, taking advantage of those situations.
It helps when he has a pretty good supporting cast too, doesn't he?
He has a great supporting cast.
Knowles has grown into his height, it sounds like, a little bit, and he's gotten taller too.
Yeah, he's a 6'9", bouncy kid, and he's just tip of the iceberg of what he can do. He hasn't, his potential is not even close to been reached yet. And him and with Gavin out there too. I mean, Gavin's our leading rebounder and our leading assist guy, so he is just a really tough guy to handle.
Gavin Grothaus is who you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And you don't hear that very often, your leading rebounder being your leading assist guy.
No, and our second leading scorer. So it's he's a load.
And then you got Hunter Froman, I heard that's I don't know how many points he's going to score for you, but I heard he's a pretty good lockdown defender, pretty long.
He's long and he's athletic. He got his first dunk the other night. He was excited about that. And he has gotten better each game this year. So being a sophomore, it's kind of tough, but he's just continues to get better. If we can keep on that step up, like every day, let's take a step up every day, and then it all adds up, and he'll be a load.
We talk about a step up. This tournament allows that a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. I love this tournament. I've always liked it from when I was here way back in the 90s, and it's a really fun middle time of the year to just like, okay, let's have a tournament, see where we are, see how competitive we are.
So as you look through the tournament, you don't, I guess you've seen this now, but don't tell anybody because it's laying right there in front of you.
Yeah.
But you don't have to play the 9 o'clock game, I can tell you that. That's a plus, right?
That is a plus for sure, because we've done that before. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody
has to do it, right?
And it's, someone's going to, but it's nice to not have to have that.
Well, Coach, I'll let you get out of here. I appreciate you coming over, get some food, and enjoy some camaraderie. Now, when I do racing stuff, everybody talks about bench racing, where everybody's bench racing. Do you guys do bench basketball here and tell stories and all kinds of stuff?
There are some stories going on out there. There is. There's a lot of tradition around here.
I can imagine. Well, Coach, congratulations on the #1 seed.
Thank you.
We will see you at the
Appreciate it.
tournament, and we'll be talking to you at halftime and all that good stuff.
Good. I'm glad you'll be there.
All right, we'll take a break here, and we'll be back and reveal the #2 seed in just a minute. You're watching the Holiday Tournament Reveal Show here live from Sports Corner at 1:24. We'll be right back after this.
My experience with McDonough District Hospital was amazing. I have a lot of allergies, complicated by nasal problems. And the procedure I had is Vive Air. Dr. Sparks was incredible.
The Vive Air procedure is a radiofrequency ablation procedure. She no longer has to do any medications to breathe, so she gets much more restful night's sleep. And a short little office procedure, and have somebody that feels like it's totally changed their life means the world.
It's a permanent improvement on the quality of your life.
Welcome back here as we are down to seed #2, and the coach for seed #2 is not here, so we brought Justice back. Seed #2, Peoria Christian, and you talked about them yesterday when I saw you at the A-Town Classic.
Yeah, they're an exciting team. They've been ranked in Class 1A basketball. They're a nice new addition to the holiday tournament, and really excited to have them with us this year, and excited to see them compete in the tournament.
And the #3 seed is not here tonight either, and it is Rock Ridge.
Rock Ridge Rockets. They are a team that had a very exciting year last year. Beat Macomb in the championship. They were really excited to watch Landon Bull's back with them. Believe TJ Wilson's back. Cunico. So Jordan Harris has got a really good team, and really exciting team. We played him in the sectional at Canton, and of course that was a really exciting ball game, and really good program rolling over there.
So that will bring us to seed #4, and seed #4 I think might have been the toughest pick, because there's really probably 2 through about 6 has probably been a tough pick for the group here this year. But the #4 seed came down to the last 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah, I mean, there are several different teams in this tournament that could get that #4 seed. I mean, you really look at down the bracket. There are 2 or 3 teams in my mind that could have got it, and I think that's what makes this tournament so great, is that, there may be 4 seeds, but there's always that dark horse that may have not got a seed that is going to now have a little bit more, hey, let's make a run and get to that title game.
And speaking of that, the #4 seed is the Macomb High Bombers, and Coach Jeremy Anderson is here tonight, so we'll slide him up here. But as you look, you said there was some questions of who it would be, but not a surprise probably. Macomb has beat a couple of those teams that was in that mix, right?
Yeah, Macomb's, they've had a really good start to the year. They played, they've only 2 losses, Q&D and Illini Bluffs, who have very, very strong squads, but beat Illini West on Friday by 4, and they've been playing some good basketball, and they got a game Friday, Saturday. They'll play Liberty Friday night, and then Scales Mound up at the Great Western with, of course, Bomber alum Reed Kelso running that, and going to be an exciting week, but Bombers are playing well right now.
Well, we'll get Coach Jeremy Anderson in here and talk to him. We'll go ahead and hand the headset over here. Slide off, Justice. Thank you very much. And we'll get Coach Anderson underneath the headset. He's under there now. Coach, I've seen some of your games. Haven't had a chance to talk to you this year.
Well,
but,
shoot, Dwayne.
You've
been there every time, man.
You've been lucky. You've
No,
been lucky.
I like talking to you.
I
Go
tell
back
you-
a long time, man.
Yeah, I know. It's I wasn't doing as much talking to you back then, except for on the recorder.
That's all right.
Back in the original times, back at the Macomb Journal days. But the number 4 seed, I think you have to be happy with that. It sets you up to maybe make another run to a championship here in the holiday tournament.
That's going to be awful tough, Dwayne. This is a really, really good field. I think the committee had a tough choice to try to match that up and to set up the seeds. And really, I think after the top 3, and I would probably put Eureka up there also. I think they have a really good team also. But there's going to be some really solid clubs that don't get seeded, and so I think it's going to be very balanced. Our kids are always really excited to play in this tournament. It's something we take a lot of pride in, and so we're going to work hard and try to give the best showing we can and see how it goes.
You guys have a different kind of style of team this year. You don't have the all the ups and
Right.
running that you had last year. You got some kids that can play some basketball, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I look over here at the poster, and there's my 3 big guys that all graduated. We would have loved to have had the extra COVID year for one of those guys, but we have a really solid team. We're probably more perimeter-oriented this year than what we have been in the past, but we still hang our hat on the defensive end, and when we're locked in, we can play some really good defense. We had a really, really tough game with a very good, very well-coached Illini West team on Friday and played really solid defense, and so if we can keep that effort up and then somehow get that to apply also on the offensive end to where we can make other teams have to extend as much energy defensively as we do, I think that we have a lot of room to grow on that end of the floor also. But, yeah, we've been really excited so far. Just really getting started, We're just barely into it. We've played, 8 games, but you play 4 of them in a week right up at BPC. And so
you learn a lot, but you don't get to fix a lot there.
Yeah, we're still learning. We're still trying to figure out how all the pieces go together. But definitely perimeter-oriented or perimeter-dominated. Braden Holthouse and Drew Watson and Malachi Connolly are 3 guards that started in a super sectional game, and so we lean heavily on those guys scoring-wise. But we've had some other kids that have really stepped up with their effort. Nolan Hogue and Logan and Langdon Lambert just really done a nice job in the starting spots for us. And we got guys like Cooper Hobson and Isaac Leinbach have been coming in off the bench and giving us everything they have. And that's the type of thing that we're going to have if we want to compete with some of the really good teams in this tournament.
Now, you talked about those 3 guys, and Lambert and some of these guys. You have a lot of football players playing basketball, especially those 3 guards were key parts of the football team.
That's how we like it.
Does that, since this is kind of a shortened pre-tournament season because it's kind of got pushed back a week.
Sure.
Since it's a little shorter, is that affecting basketball this fall, you think?
Well, we love to have guys that play football and other sports because it brings out the competitiveness. Going all the way back to when we had Connor and Connor that were golfers, the mental toughness it takes to be on your own out there in the golf course, that'll pay off in the basketball court also. But those football guys, as long as they're healthy, and most of them were healthy when they came back, that competitive fire carries over. But when you have that short turnaround, that's when your continuity of program really pays off. Most of the time, preseason practices, we're just reviewing things, right, that they already kind of know that we've done since they were fresh soft or that type of thing. But that's where Coach Langworthy and Coach Keene and before Coach Boehner was so important for us that they install a lot of the stuff when they're fresh soft, and then when they get to me, we just kind of review and try to pick up the pieces. But, yeah, the continuity is really, really important. But I'd rather have our guys play every sport, right? And that's really what we have to do at Macomb to have enough guys to go around.
Well, Braden Holthouse, I want to talk a little bit about him. He's the leader on the football field, and I think he's kind of the leader for you guys as well. And he does well in that role, it seems.
Oh, absolutely. Really all 3 of those guards, Braden and Drew and Malachi, have done a great job so far this year of being able to just keep us calm, right, to get us through the really hectic parts of games. That game last Friday night was a great example, and it came right down to the end. And there was a couple of possessions where Illini West hit a shot to take the lead. We came down, kept our poise, ran our stuff, got good shots, and that's really because of Braden, Drew, and Malachi being able to steady the ship there when things get really crazy. And so that's and they should. They have a lot of experience and they're good ball players also.
Well, Coach, I won't keep you any longer. Since you're a top 4 seed, you get out of here a little quicker tonight.
Yeah, I'm probably going to, sit around and listen to everybody tell me how good they are or that type of thing.
And you're going to tell them how bad you are, right?
No, not at all. I really enjoy our guys and proud to be their coach.
I know that's what coaches do, right? You got to play it down, right? Well, we're not that good.
No.
We struggle.
Well, nowadays, though, with as much video that goes around, there's no secrets. It used to be.
Can't hide anybody.
Brock and I were talking about this not too long ago. When you used to have to. We didn't have a formal like this, but we used to have to reveal the bracket earlier so you'd have a chance to go out and see who you're going to play.
Right.
When you were on the road driving someplace to scout. Now there's so much video going around that there are no secrets anymore, Dwayne.
Yeah, can't hide anybody.
No, not anymore.
The only way you can hide them is if they're ineligible.
Well, yeah, we don't want that.
You don't want that. So, Coach, I'll let you get out of here. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with the first game of the tournament in just a few minutes.
At Western Illinois University, Leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there's limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a Leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
Welcome back here as we're waiting for the first game to be revealed, and the first game tonight will be of the tournament, a 9 a.m. game on Thursday, December 26th. It is Brown County and Illini West. Brown County and Illini West on 12/26 at 9 a.m. They will open the tournament at the Macomb-Western Holiday Tournament, and we're going to get Coach Bodorf in here. If he wants to hop on in, come on in, Coach. Come on in, Coach. We'll get you in here, get you on the headset. As Coach Bodorf is going to join us here. He gets under the headset. Well, Coach, 9 a.m. game coming from Mount Sterling. That sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll be ready for it. We'll be ready for it. We'll start. We might have some early morning practices next week.
Ready or not, here it comes.
Here it comes.
Does it bother you or concern you at all that this tournament is starting the day after Christmas?
It'd be nice to have some practices, but, kids also have to have an opportunity to enjoy their Christmas. And, the one thing about my kids I really love is they're going to play hard regardless. So I know the effort and the energy is going to be there.
You guys have had a pretty good early season, it sounds like. You were one of those teams, I think, that was in the running for that number 4, number 3, maybe number 2 seed. How do you think the early season has gone, and do you think that moving it back a week has maybe made this tournament a little different?
Well, I think for us, we were a little bit of an unknown, and our focus has just been about controlling what we do, which has been play really hard on the defensive end, push the ball down the floor, and just do what we do well. And I think in the first 2 weeks of the season for us, it was about trying to figure out our identity.
Right.
This past week has allowed us to have some practice time now to say, okay, what did we learn? What do we adjust on? And so I think it's been helpful for us. We had a lot of kids play football, so we were, they finished football on a Saturday and started practice on a Monday.
Yeah, and that seems to be a theme, right? This isn't a big school tournament, so that's something that most every team sees. If they have football, they have kids playing football.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need our kids to play multiple sports. So they're in shape, just different shape.
Yeah, so does since the IHSA kind of pushed everything back a week with Thanksgiving being late and everything like that, will all these teams, or will your team, or do you feel like your team already is in basketball shape yet?
I think we've gotten there. The way I put it to them from day one in practice is we are going to get in shape by the way we practice. And so we have high-intense practices. We are up and down the floor. So they're used to that every day. And I think we're getting closer to being to that point.
Okay, Coach. Well, I won't keep you very long here. I appreciate it. As the people are getting ready, though, can you give us one player that's going to be key for you guys that people are going to expect to hear probably quite a bit?
Oh, boy. To name one.
Okay, name 2 or 3. Whatever you want to do.
Because we play a lot of guys. And, Carter Havens and Maverick Henry, our 2 guards, have been played really well in the Beardstown tournament. Carter's coming off of an ankle sprain. We'll see how he is this week. And then Jackson McNeff, another sophomore. Jackson's a guy that I think you'll hear a lot of. I expect him to have a big tournament and a big year.
You guys have had a lot of success at the junior high coming into the younger level here recently at the boys basketball level. They're doing it at girls again for you guys as well right now. Is there pressure to carry that through to the high school level?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think it's pressure, but I also think it's expectations. I think we've got kids coming through that have won, and they expect to win. And, they're learning a little bit right now about playing varsity basketball and the physicality of it. But the attitude and the efforts are there. And they want to be successful. And, that's a good starting point for any coach.
We had a pretty good Beardstown tournament to open the season, right?
We did. We played really well. And, again, we played really well defensively, which led to a lot of good things on offense that we're still kind of learning. And so we got off to a good start.
All right, Coach. Well, I'll let you hop out of here. You're the top team in the bracket. I don't know. You're not the number one seed, but you're top on the bracket. So you can tell the kids that means you're really good, right?
Yeah, there we go.
So,
we got a tough first contest, Illini West. So
Illini West is a good team, and they're one of the ones. I think they put two teams in this group right here that probably were in that number 4 seed talk, I would imagine, I think. So everybody's already talking. The committee was already talking about this game being one of the best in the first round. So no pressure.
Yeah, well, we got 2 games before then we're going to focus on, but then we'll get ready for that.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you very much. We'll see if we can get Coach Kimmel in here. We'll let you hop out. Go ahead and take that headset off, and I appreciate it greatly. Thank you. We'll get Coach Kimmel to slide on in here. Blaze Kimmel, the Illini West head coach. He's talking to Coach Anderson right now. He's going to slide in here. As you can see, Brown County and Illini West in here in the game number 1. First game of the day, Coach. How exciting is that?
Christmas miracle.
A Christmas miracle.
Christmas miracle.
You're ready to go, or you better be ready to go either way, right?
Yeah, I don't know how other teams do it. You're gonna have off Christmas Day, and then you're gonna show up at early in the morning Thursday at Western Hall. Hey, but it's not like they're getting any advantage either. It's gonna be the same thing.
5 a.m. shoot around.
Don't ask me. I'm not gonna think that far ahead here. I'm gonna eat some free food and kind of think about some other things till I dive into that, because we were literally just talking before we got called for this game. And I told him, I was like, he's been doing a terrific job. They're playing hard. They're traps and everything like that. We saw him beat West Central. And
West Central, the Southern West Central.
Yes. And so they're really good. They're really, really well improved. It's going to be a game where we will have to show up and execute, play hard. Shot clock's also going to be in effect for this game too. So we will need a good 3 or 4 days of prep for not only them, but for anybody in this tournament, whether it's either way in the bracket. But they're good, man. That's going to be a good opening round game for the tournament, I think.
Well, you guys have played some good competition already. You've lost a couple games to Macomb, but I think you have to look at those games and think, like, we could have won either one of those, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we and Jeremy have talked plenty of times. He's done one of the best coached teams in this area of Illinois. We had our chances Friday, just didn't fall our way. Then Monroe City just won their tournament. I think they're 7-1 or something like that, 5-1. I'm really happy where we are, considering all the football injuries we had, getting healthy. Like everybody has a new team. But I do have confidence in my guys to play anybody. We've kind of showed that, I think, in the past year that we can compete with any type of program. That we've tried to turn that to our blood with defense and execution on the offensive end. But anytime we play somebody, there's no really I always say it doesn't matter who we're playing. We could probably beat anybody on our schedule, but anybody on our schedule can beat us. So I was like, so we better be bringing our A game every time we show up.
Well, you mentioned defense there. You won the BPC tournament giving up 98 points in 4 games. I don't know that I've ever seen a team play 4 games and only give up 98 points.
If you ask our kids how much defense we worked on the first 2.5 weeks of practice, they would tell you we did a lot of defense. And the reason we did that is because we had 2 kids out with football injuries. I had my Carlisle kid with a hip flexor injury. He didn't practice the whole first week. And I just told our guys, we're not going to throw a whole bunch of stuff into they got to come back and learn it all.
Right.
I couldn't have been happier for my guys. Even in our loss to Macomb, it was 33-26, and we went 2 for 17 from 3. Played Bluffs on the last night, went 0 for 17 from 3, which we talked about, and ended up pulling out that one. I was really happy for my kids, even though we got a loss that week. Winning that tournament is a great way to start the tournament.
Has your 3-point shooting improved any?
Hey, I hope so. Yesterday we hit some shots over at Mercer in a really tough game with them, and Friday night we hit some against Jeremy and Macomb. But now at Western Hall, I don't. Last year, I'll tell you that right now, it was like Bushnell at Western Hall last year. So I hope at Western Hall we have a little bit more luck.
Well, I just had to ask you that because that's one of the things we talked about is you come to Bushnell every year and you think it's a shooter's gym, but you guys just can't hit any threes.
We built a new gym with the bricks there.
Yeah.
But hey, again, we know what we got to rely on when we play Brown County, and we need a guard at a high clip, guard at a high level versus any team, any program. We will need to be ready to play versus Brown County. I know that whenever we were coming in with my assistant coach, I said, I think we might have a chance of getting them, and we'll have to play really, really well.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you stopping in and talking to us tonight. I know my daughter, Kaylee, is probably not watching, but you should give her a hard time if you see her tomorrow.
I've subbed sometimes for choir and band and stuff like that, and I do. I always tell her, she's walking slower. I was like, get out of my way, or I'm going to tell your dad.
Yeah, she broke her foot. So,
yeah, that's
so
she's walking, the hard time for.
She's walking really slow now, so
absolutely.
and whining a lot. You can tell her to stop whining.
Yeah, we'll go to the wheelchair.
Okay,
we'll go to the four-wheel drive.
Yeah, there you go. Do that. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes live from Sports Corner at 124 as we release game number 2 when we come back. We'll be right back.
It was the community that really drew me back to Macomb. I'm from a small community, and I'm from a farm family, and ultimately I always wanted to practice in a place like that, and I felt that I had the ability to connect to people who with a similar background from me, and the fact that the staff members at the hospital and the support, all the support staff at the hospital was also focused with the goal of patient care. It felt like it just all came hammered at home for me.
After my appointment that day, I just made up my mind that I'm going to have my baby here in Macomb. They were so wonderful.
I thought about the staff of MDH. They're all good. This is just the best place for you and your family.
And welcome back. As you can see, the first game has been removed off the board, and we're ready to release game number 2. And game number 2 has the first of our seeded teams. It is number 3 seed Rock Ridge against Camp Point, so we'll tear that down. We'll take that off the board as the Camp Point and Rock Ridge does not have any representation here. So we will show you that is the second game of the tournament. It's Rock Ridge and Camp Point. Game number 3, we'll move right into that. Game number 3 is the number 2 seeded Peoria Christian Chargers and Farmington Farmers. And Peoria Christian, the number 2 seed, and Farmington Farmers come in as an unseeded team, and Coach Lozier is here, so we'll have Coach Lozier come on up here and get him under the headset. But this is game number 3 of the tournament. It's a 12 p.m. contest. For those of you who never use the 12 p.m. deal, that means it's a noon contest, and Coach Lozier's going to have to miss his lunch date that day and start right at noon. But I think that's okay, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
So Peoria Christian, I know you're close enough to Peoria to see those guys and know what's going on. They've got a couple pretty good players.
Oh, they really do. The Pensinger boy, he's really good, and I've watched them a little bit on film, but they attack the basket. They like to run. They're just a really well-coached team, too.
So you guys played in Macomb the other night.
Yeah.
And you came in with a record that you're not used to having, I think, at this point of the season.
That's okay.
But I think you played better than your record says. You guys had several of those kids play football, and you guys played way long into the postseason. You're still probably trying to get your legs under you a little bit, aren't you?
Well, actually, the whole team did.
Yeah.
We didn't have a basketball player who didn't play football. So, I think that a lot of it can be said that the effort they're putting in. But I think a couple things that I know it's the dog days of winter when you have 2 weeks of practice, and I know it gets very monotonous in those 2 weeks. But you do a couple things. You build some stamina, and along with that, you do a lot of shooting. The other thing is the mental part of it. I think you've had such a great run at football, which I would take my position anytime just for that. You have to keep their spirits up. They're not used to losing either.
Right.
We got a great group of kids, and but yeah, against Macomb, that was the first game I really had Jack Grunewald back. He was our leading scorer last year, came back, and great team leader, and I'll tell you what, I was. you got to understand, Jack's probably had 3 practices because he's still got a bad ankle. And a lot of those other football players maybe have had 4. And I was, not taking away from Macomb because they're a really good team. But I was just, our execution was really good. And our toughness was good. I was very pleased. So
yeah, I think people get caught up a lot in records right now, and records in the early season, and really records at any point in a basketball season don't really matter that much. You don't know what the team has gone to and gone through, I should say. Plus, everybody makes the postseason, right? So you can give a kid an extra day or an extra week to get healthy or whatever, and if you lose a game, they're not as good. Well, really, sometimes it really doesn't matter, does it?
No, it doesn't. And Jeff Otto's been telling me that all month. So, but I told the kids, hey, December's our get better month. I mean, we're behind, but it's a great reason we're behind. Let's get our injuries fixed. We're get healthy. Let's get in shape, and let's just work to get better. And they've all bought in, and our practices have really been good. And I'm excited. We had Jet Fowler, he showed up. He hasn't had one practice, and he showed up Friday dressed. Hey, Coach, I'm playing. And I said, well, can you play? And he said, sure. And you know what? He didn't do too bad. So, it's a process. I'm excited about moving forward, and I'm after first year. I mean, we've got a tough draw here at Macomb, but we're going to come out here, be prepared the best we can. We're going to play farmer ball, and hopefully we'll be in better shape and be competitive. I'm excited about next year. So.
Well, number 2 seeds have been beaten before.
I'm not going to talk about it. But I'm not sure if I was ever a 2 seed. So they're a good team. I'm excited about the matchup. We'll see them again at the end of the season. They are one of the best teams that you can play at the end of the season because it's almost a regional atmosphere.
Right.
And they are just so well coached with Jason over there. So I'm excited to play them, and we'll show up and do the best we can. So.
Well, and you guys are still looking for litmus tests, I would imagine, at this point, right? Yeah. So this is a pretty good litmus test for you.
It is. I mean, Macomb was a good one for us. Going into that game, I think I was probably looking to see, how would we, we've put in a lot of new offense this year, and we're playing some zone right now. I'm not a zone guy, as you well know, so I think just to keep people halfway fresh during the game, but I think that playing at Peoria Christian, those are games we want. We're going to go over to Galesburg and play in their shootout. I'm sure we'll play a 3A, 4A team over there. I'm excited about those games. They make you better.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, Coach, I won't keep you too much longer here, but you've mentioned some kids, but of the kids that have been able to be there this whole season so far for you, that were healthy when they came in and they've been productive. Give a shout out to some of those kids that have been able to be there for you.
Oh, well, I'll start, we got Owen Morris as a point guard. Owen was, and the other thing, I think you got to go back a little farther too. In the summer, I think Owen, Zach Simpson, Maddox up, and those kids came and they worked hard, and we had a lot of JV players in the summer that had to play during that time. So we just had a lot of kids out before football. So those kids and Owen's just been really, really leading the team well. A lot of our fresh soft kids coming in have been a big help. I mean, I had 2 weeks of practice with my JV, and you know what? I'll tell you, the pressure was kind of off, and I had more fun in those 2 weeks seeing their improvement. So a lot of shout out to them, but we're just going to have to get in shape, and we'll be ready to go.
How much do you play this week? You played all this week?
We play Monmouth on Tuesday. Then we got Southeastern over at the Great Western Shootout on Saturday. Then we'll take a break. We'll get some practice. We'll at least have, probably 4 practices this week. And then we'll have quite a few practices before we get to Macomb. So that's going to really help us. So I might even see if they want to come in Christmas Day. You think parents would mind that? So.
Well, if you're there, why not, right?
That's right.
Let them come in and shoot. But at least you do get to do a shoot-around, I would imagine, that Thursday morning, right?
Oh,
before
yeah.
You come. So you're not that 9 a.m. game doing a 5 a.m. shoot-around or something like that.
No, I didn't mind when I saw that we were the third game, that's for sure. But, Coach Miles said, one thing that you said earlier, that everybody's got a postseason, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what our goal is. Let's get ready and let's get better every week. And, I think the hardest thing for me is I think Farmington fans are used to winning, a lot. And it's just been hard for me to be in a position where we're not where we are yet. Right. And I'm excited where we're going to be. So I want to do a lot for those fans because we got such a great following.
Patience is a hard thing to teach, isn't it?
When you're a type A guy like me, it is. So.
All right, Coach. We'll let you get out of here. Thank you very much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. We'll take a break and we'll be back. Actually, we're just going to stay here. Why not just stay here? You take off. Thank you, sir. Coach Lozier from Farmington. And we are ready to go with game number 4. It's the last game of the first session, the last game of the first session of the tournament. And game number 4 will be Liberty and Monrose. Liberty and Monrose will be next. Coach Sparrow from Liberty is here. Come on up here, Coach. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. As you can see that. So the 4th game is Liberty and Monmouth Roseville. Coach Sparrow, thank you for joining us. And you're an afternoon game, so at least you get a little time to digest Christmas dinner and lunch and get ready for a basketball game the next day.
Well, hopefully they have an earlier lunch than dinner. So we'll see. I want them playing a little bit hungry coming out of that Christmas. But, no, this is an exciting time for us, and, really look forward to playing there. Last couple of years I think they had the 9 o'clock game. So I kept hearing about it from a lot of our people. Maybe you can do something different about getting a later game. And I said, well, we got to play better.
Yeah. Well, you played better enough to get a little later game then, I guess. But are you concerned at all about it being the day after Christmas? Or they're high school kids. Does it really even matter that much?
No, a lot of these kids I've coached in the past and playing travel basketball and that type of thing, and so they're used to playing after a holiday and a lot of games, multiple games in a day and that type of thing. So for them, I think they just see it as one more game and they don't worry about that. And it's always nice as a coach to have a game or a day or two to prepare for your opponent and that type of thing. But, who knows, maybe a Christmas wish will come for Coach and we'll have practice on Christmas Day.
There you go. That's you're like the second or third coach that has mentioned that.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. Bah humbug, right?
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know that it's a bad thing as long as it's not a forced thing. If the kids want to come, why not, right?
Right.
And that's kind of the way I look at it. Now, for the fans in the Macomb area that don't get to see Liberty as much, what can we expect to see out of you guys?
Well, we're young. We start 4 sophomores, and then we only have the 1 senior, and my son Jack, and then. But we have the ability to put up some points. We can slow things down. We're still trying to figure out who we are, and a large part of that is just because of the 4 sophomores that we have. But they're very talented. They got some time last year as freshmen, and over the summer we really didn't have a lot of stuff in. We're still probably about 33% of where we need to be. But we were playing good enough to, obviously have a 5-2 record, and we pretty fortunate about some of the games that we played, and a couple games we didn't shoot it as well as what we're typically do in practice sometimes. So that goes along hand in hand with just some of the experience.
You start mixing younger kids and older kids. Does that been a problem, or is that a problem for you guys at all?
Well, not with the 3 sophomores that we had. In the Tate Huber and Vince Cramsey and then my other son Reed. Those 3 have been a solid nucleus playing travel basketball. Before I became the head coach this last year, we had them, and some of the other coaches are benefiting from our hustle team that played. We had some other kids from some of the surrounding communities, and we would go play even during COVID. What we've seen is I fear that team that has a lot of seniors and juniors, because that meant that they were playing during COVID.
Right.
And a lot of those kids just didn't play. And, we had 3 of our kids, fortunate that 3 of our kids have played during that time. And so I think you're seeing a lot of younger kids on a lot of these teams because they were on that front end. And if they could find ways to go play in Missouri and Iowa, they were doing it.
Right. So Liberty is a town, or a school, I should say, that is used to having some pretty successful basketball teams. These younger kids are probably looking back, I think it was a few years ago, Liberty was really good. Your sophomore group is probably the ones that really got maybe molded a little bit by watching that last really good group that came through Liberty, right? So is that part of that history kind of keep this thing going for Liberty?
Well, yeah. I helped Coach Altmix in 15-16 when we made a run. We went all the way to and finished third in state, and then 2 years ago, they made that run again, and then they had that the COVID year prior to that. They probably would have made a state championship run at that as well, because they had just about everybody on that same team that following year, and they were playing really good basketball. Liberty is a town they'll go through cycles. It's just not as or it's a little bit more frequent than others.
Right.
About every 5 years they'll make a run, and we've had 2 down years since that team that made that run, and now we're starting to build, and our kids will get better and better as they go.
You guys have been a part of this tournament for quite a while, it seems like. Why is this tournament? It's not super close to you. So why is this tournament important for Liberty?
Well, it gives us an opportunity to see other teams that we might not normally see. And, you've got good coaches up around this area and that type of thing that you want to, that's what I missed about coaching, being out of it and that type of thing, is the camaraderie and just, bouncing ideas and seeing different things and game planning and strategizing and that type of thing. And so this gives us an opportunity to see some other schools, some bigger schools, and kind of put our team to the test to make that postseason run.
Well, we are talking about Game 4, Liberty and Monrose. And Monrose, I see Coach Grant back there. Do you know Coach Grant?
We just kind of talked. I know he said that he's been in it for a little bit and just got back in. So
yeah, he was out and back. So I'll be interested to talk to him to see if it's changed in the year or two that he was gone or whatever it was. But Coach, I appreciate you coming and talking to us very much, and good luck in the tournament.
All right,
noon game or a 1:30 game. Eat a 10 o'clock lunch and get ready to go. Right?
That's right. That's
all
right.
Coach Sparrow, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll get Coach Chuck Grant up here in just a moment, as Monrose is the other team in the 1:30 contest. We're working through the top half of the bracket right now. We'll get Coach Grant under the headset. Go ahead and hop that thing on there, buddy. I saw you at a girls basketball game, I think it was, in Abingdon last year, wasn't it? Or was it boys basketball? Do you remember where I saw you at Casey's after the game?
Might have been Casey's.
Yeah, I saw you at Casey's after the game, and I didn't think that I'd be seeing you back here interviewing you this year for basketball coach.
That makes 2 of us. Yeah, that makes 2 of us, Dwayne. I don't know. I do some crazy things, I guess. But no, Jake stepped away, and I talked to Jeremy about what direction they were going to go, and I thought, what the heck, it's not going to be another 27-year run there, but I'm here now.
Has it been more fun? Does it feel different now that you're back?
Yeah, it does feel different. It's always been fun for me. It was fun when I stepped away. I just felt like, it was a good time at COVID, and then I kind of questioned, was that kind of sneaking out? I don't know. But it's different because I don't know the kids. At least, I was still coaching. I still knew the kids. I've been away from it enough now that I'm trying to connect with them, and I could be their grandpa. So, sometimes things get a little intense, and so I think it's. We're getting better. We're improving every night out. So something must be working, but I'm still questioning whether how much I'm actually connected with the guys.
And that's something I think people forget. They say coaches have to be respected, coaches have to coach, but if you can build a connection with the kids, it makes that building a little easier, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think you can command respect. I think that's a false respect. I think you have to earn it. If I come in and say you must respect me, then I think that sometimes throws a roadblock up. And I think you have to go out there and make the connections and build it. And we're trying. And I think we're going in the right direction. We played better about every night out. So I think we're coming on as a basketball team. So I guess maybe from that respect, maybe we are starting to kind of bridge that.
Are you? Did you have to change your philosophy any? Are you coaching at the same game you coached before?
Yeah,
or have you
pretty
had to
much.
change a little bit?
Pretty much. We've kind of adjusted a few things. We play a little more zone than we did, but we're still running a passing game. We're still trying to get down the floor, and so I feel like especially if we're going to do this have any kind of longevity in it, I want to build a program again, you know, and kind of this types of things that I like to do and I feel like can be successful and has been successful. So, you know, we put in, you know, again, kind of a passing game offense, and you know, we guard, you know, we try to guard at least 3/4 of the court, and you know, get up and down the floor a little bit, kind of what we did, and so that way, if I happen to come back next year, hopefully it gets a little easier every year.
You've been coaching long enough to see that, you know, 20 years ago it seemed like there was more points scored than there are now. Is that because defense is getting better, or has the game changed? Even though the 3-point line's become more, has the game changed?
Personally, I think that you know, there's a lot less pure shooters than there used to be. I mean, not that there aren't some now, but you know, mostly today it's either 3-ball or bust, and the mid-range game, which I still respect, is maybe not as good as it once was, but you know, it's still a part of us, you know, who we do. I mean, we try to get to the rim. We hit our mid-range, we hit our threes. So I feel like there's less pure shooters than maybe there was. A lot more guys like to shoot the three. I would love to shoot the three. I never had a three. You know?
Right. Yeah.
I would love to have my coach say, "Hey, I want you out there shooting the 3-ball," because I'd have done it. You know, but I think kids are maybe a little more athletic, but I don't know. I guess this sounds old school, and maybe I don't know, but I think basketball-wise, maybe a step, maybe backward. Yeah, personally.
Basketball inside out or outside in?
Well, I like to go inside out, but one thing we're battling a little bit this year, we're a little undersized, and so we're still trying to, you know, we still have to establish inside. But I would rather year in, year out be inside out. So, but we're using what we have. We've got some guys who can put the ball on the deck a little bit and attack it. And we're just trying to, you know, kind of help guys recognize when the opportunity to put the ball on the deck is there and when it's not. You know, I mean, I think I watched him a little bit last year where I felt like they, you know, teams loaded up on him, and, you know, we want to go into that. Well, that's kind of a habit that we're trying to get away from guys. But I feel like, you know, we're getting better in that respect, and it's a balanced way, because you don't want kids to not be aggressive. You know, you don't want kids to not be aggressive, but you also want them to you know, to kind of pick their spots, and you know. So I guess the roundabout answer is I'd rather, you know, I like to go inside out, but sometimes you got to take what you got.
So who will the people here at the Macomb-Western Holiday Tournament, who can they expect to hear out of, names that they can expect to hear out of you guys?
For our club?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've been very balanced. We've got senior Ethan Clark that's leading us in scoring, about just under 14 a game. And Ethan, you know, if there's ever a kid that you want to point to some of the younger kids and say, hey, he put the work in and look what he's done. And I had a chance to see him last year play a few times, and I know the work he put in the off season, and it's really paid off for him. And so I would start with Ethan there. Peyton Thompson, who's a senior, athletic kid, didn't play a lot of minutes last year. He's kind of, I felt like he had his best overall game the other night. I think he had 13 points, 2 or 3 assists, 2 or 3 steals. Really athletic kids, and again, just kind of starting to get the feel. We have C. Sarcomo as our point guard, who potentially could be one of the better ones we've had, but we're trying to get there with him. And and then we've got a young man, Nick Houston, who plays the 5, and Nick's had a couple of double-doubles last week, you know, 10 and 10, and just a strong kid, just not a lot of stretch to him, about 6 foot. And Andy Myers is a senior that's come on and been a good leader for us. We got a young man, Lars Berggren, that's a sophomore, that I think as time goes on, Dwayne, I think he's going to be a pretty good one.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming and talking to us tonight. It's good to see you.
Yes,
I was probably as surprised as anybody when I heard you were back on the sidelines.
Well, no more surprised than I was. But no, it's good to be back, and it really is good to be back. And I was talking to Dave Hasley did our game the other night, and I love talking to officials, obviously. And you know, we were just talking about, you know, I said, Dave, you know, I could be home tonight. You know, he said, me too. He said, I'm glad you're here. I said, well, I'm glad to be around you. I mean, you know, you're around those kind of guys. I mean, good people like Dave, and a lot of officials like that, and other coaches in here. And you know, that's a thing that one of the things that you can't, it's tough for me anyway to kind of disconnect from. And so, someday I'll have to be done forever, but, not right now.
Well, I know that you've been around this tournament for quite a while. What do you like about this tournament?
It's a great tournament. It's a great field. Playing at Western Hall is a lot of fun. And, I've got to know a lot of guys that over the years that run the tournament, and they're all great people. And I've got a granddaughter that plays sports in the Macomb Junior High right now, so I see a lot of those people when I'm around there now, and it's they're good people, and it's just fun to come down every year and compete. We'll see what we do this year. We've won a few times. We've played for the title a few times, brought home some trophies. We'll just see what we can do this year.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
You're
it was
welcome.
good seeing you.
Thanks for your time.
We'll take a break, and we'll be back on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH, live from Sports Corner at 124. It's the Macomb-Western Holiday Tournament Bracket Reveal Show. We'll be back with game number 5 in just a couple minutes.
When I walk in and talk to my patients, I like my patients first and foremost to feel comfortable. I like to keep it real with them. I like them to know that I'm there to listen to them and to help them understand some of the processes that they may be going through. The most rewarding aspect that I feel with caring for patients is when those patients come back in and they tell me how much better they feel for something that I have helped them accomplish in their health care.
And welcome back. For anybody that knows this guy, you might have an idea who's going to be playing in game number 5, but we'll pull it up here. Game number 5 is going to be Mercer County and Pittsfield. I have Coach Tim Seedam from Mercer County. And, Coach, first time in the holiday tournament. You excited?
No, absolutely. I mean, we've played in a different holiday tournament in the past as Mercer County in the time that it's been. But in reality, that's a tournament that my staff and myself, we've followed the Macomb-Western Holiday Tournament every year. I think the broadcast is excellent. I think the field is awesome. So I think we're really, really happy to join the field and the group of teams to have that experience.
Well, I know that you guys started the season off really strong. Maybe you've had a couple losses here lately, but you guys, I think, were in that mix for that number 4 seed probably.
I don't know. I think if we were able to pick up a couple more, that we could have been in that conversation and that argument for that 4 seed. But we're a young team. We're led by a senior that's been part of our varsity team for 3 years. But beyond that, we don't have a lot of varsity experience on our group. So we're still learning and building and growing. And I think we'll be a different team in February than we are at the beginning of the year. But we were, even with that, able to start pretty hot. But picked up a couple losses just with playing a shorter bench with our group, and we need to build some more experience out of our guys.
Well, you guys, you talk about getting better, and that's the nice thing about basketball, right, is you can work throughout the season to get better and not have to worry about, do we win 20 games, do we win 15 games? I mean, it helps you in the seed maybe in the postseason, but everybody gets there, right?
Absolutely. Our program, and really we talk a lot, not about the wins and losses, but are we trending, are we improving? And it's the next possession, can we do better at that next possession? We don't put a lot of stock into the accolades of wins and losses. It's us buying into us and what we want to do and make sure we're always trending in the right direction.
So what, who, you mentioned a couple players, but who are the players that are going to continue to improve, do you think? You got the guys leading you right now, but who do you see making that improvement that's going to improve you guys and help those guys that are already leading you to maybe get even a little better?
No, when you look at the pieces of the puzzle, like every kid in our program as a high school kid is able to improve. So like Carson Bolins is a senior that's been in our program, like he's even in a new role now this year than he was last year, and he's continuing to improve in that role, and he's only going to keep being better for us. We have a sophomore in Brady McPeak that is a really great addition to our varsity lineup, and I think the sky's the limit for that kid over the next 3 years for him and Mercer County basketball. Holden DeMuth at our point guard spot plays a ton of minutes. We moved him up last year as a sophomore, and he does a great job managing the basketball, and he's going to continue to improve. But the crux of it with our post play, we have a couple big, strong kids at our 4 and 5 spot and like their trend line of where they are as juniors right now, they're going to look different in February, and I'm going to tell you their senior year, they're going to look way different even next year.
Pittsfield, probably a team you guys don't see very often.
No, that's what's cool about the tournament. There's several on the list that we have not played or seen, maybe in the school history, but Pittsfield's one that I've seen at shootouts in the summer. I know it's a very good quality program and team, and even this last summer I think I saw them, I don't know if it was at the Macomb shootout, or maybe it was 2 years when we went down to Illinois Wesleyan, but I've seen them and know a little bit about their program, what they do, and it's very quality.
So what can we expect out of Mercer County? Defense turn to offense or run and gun?
I think our guys would tell you they want to be run and gun, and we let some of that go at times. But no, we want to be able to run our stuff, and we're going to play a lot of man-to-man and try to keep the ball in front of us. Knowing that we are as young as we are, we're probably not able to press and do some of the things that we'd like to. We might have to sprinkle some of that in, but we're going to protect the three-point line and protect that defensive end the best we can and keep them out of the paint.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming up here, or I guess it's down here for you, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you get some good food?
Absolutely.
Have you been to Sports Corner before?
So I actually went to Western Illinois back in 2001, 2005 era. So, yeah, I've been in here.
Was it Sports Corner then, or was it Parkside still?
It was Parkside then.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with Macomb and familiar with the drive down here, and we love the area.
So you can pick out a few good places. You're going to try to sneak into, like, Jackson Street Pub or Del Sosimo's or something while you're here?
I don't know if we have time for a horseshoe or not, but that's always one of the favorites down here.
Well, they got a good one here, too, just for the record.
Excellent.
So, all right, Coach, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming. Coach
Hey,
Sedam from Mercer County is the number 5 game against Pittsfield. Thank you, sir, as we've recovered or released 5 games. And game number 6, we've already talked to one coach, and I don't believe Canton has anybody here. So game number 6 is going to be the number 4 seeded Macomb Bombers, and Canton will play in game number 6. So that is that game. We'll pull that off the board. As we've already talked to Coach Anderson, and Canton doesn't have anybody, so we'll move right to the final 2 games of the tournament, and then we'll bring Justice back. Game number 7 has West Hancock, the number 1 seed, and back in the tournament for the first time in, well, it's been quite a few years. Bushnell-Prairie City is back in the tournament, and Coach Snyder is with us. Come on in here, Coach Snyder. Hop on in here, grab you a headset, and it is, boy, if they're going to bring you back, they give you the good one, don't they?
Yeah, it looks like that. Yep.
Well, Coach Snyder, I think you struggled a little early, but it seems like from the scores I'm seeing, and you got the win or two, you're kind of moving or trending in the right direction a little bit.
Yeah, we've had to adjust some things. We got a couple guys injured, and we have some guys filling in and replacing. So having the guys step up and do some other things has been an improvement, and we're starting to figure things out.
Well, I know that you had some kids didn't go out that maybe you thought were going to go out. You've had some kids come out that you didn't know were going to come out. You're mixing some young kids with some old kids, not old kids, but some older kids, seniors and freshmen. A lot of kids getting some playing time for you guys.
Yeah, we've had a lot of contributions from everybody. I mean, including, I know we have a freshman that comes out or starts for us, and he's been doing great. And the juniors and seniors have really, helped him and bring him along to help carry us to where we're at today.
I know that maybe drawing the number 1 seed isn't your number 1 choice per se, but I think you're happy to be back at the Macomb-Western Holiday Tournament.
Yeah, it's something that I've tried to voice my opinion in the community and around here, and try to get us back in here, because I know that they were here before I got here, but it's a shorter drive for us, and we're going to bring a fan base, and be just great for Bushnell to be closer to home.
You guys have had pretty good fan support this year, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. We at home games we play in pretty much a packed house for us, and the fans are awesome at Bushnell.
One of the things that I had Coach Kimmel on from Illini West earlier, and he mentions that his team struggles at Bushnell shooting three-pointers. And then they've had history of struggling at Western Hall. Gyms, even though the outsides at Bushnell obviously aren't the same, but the walls are a lot farther away at Bushnell than they are a lot of places. Do you feel like your kids maybe won't have as hard a transition from Bushnell to coming to Western?
I think it's going to help. I think we shot the ball fairly well at United last night when we played in the high school gym that has the walls that are back. So depth perception is a little different, and I think it helps our kids out when we go places. Now when walls are closer, that obviously goes the other way.
Right.
But again, I think it will help us, or for our distance
maybe it won't
shooters.
be as big of a problem for you anyway, right?
Yeah, it's something that we're accustomed to with the background being so far away.
Now, Talon Love's been saw some highlights of some stuff, and looks like he's been playing, maybe getting a little post action for you guys, getting some points down low anyway. He's kind of the tallest kid you got on the team, well, at least the tallest, most athletic kid, him and so. Is that going to be a key for you guys to continue to improve, you think?
Yeah, we try to get him the ball inside. He's our best leaper by far, getting off the ground, being so long. He pretty much carried us in the overtime win last night, just getting offensive rebounds and putting it back. And he can play above the rim when he wants to. So he's been a great addition for us this year. I'm glad he came back out.
Brock Beekman has been a key for you guys, too, and he's probably going to be a key throughout the year, isn't he?
Yeah, we're gonna go pretty much as far as Brock will take us, and he does a lot for us offensively, slashing, penetrating. He can shoot the three, creating things for us, but he'll also be able to dish the ball, so set up his teammates.
You guys don't have a ton of height. Is a guy like a 6'9" Knowles for West Hancock worry you a little bit?
Just a little bit. We're gonna have our hands full, and again, having West Hancock being our Thanksgiving tournament, up until this year, we've seen them before. Gives us some insight, but again, they're playing really well this year, and Coach Dahl's got them playing well, so we'll have our hands full.
How nice will it be to have this short trip? You mentioned it's a shorter trip, but how nice will that be since it's the day after Christmas this year?
It'll be great. It's not a really long trip for us, and we'll get home at a reasonable hour. Again, we'll bring a fan base, and I plan on my kids probably being here before our game and watching games, and then heading back, catch a bus to come here. So
7 p.m. game, that's probably as lucky, I guess, other than drawing the number one seed maybe, but as lucky as you could be time-wise, because it kind of keeps you in that same flow, right? You're going to be starting similar time to what you'd normally start a game.
Yeah, it's anytime you can keep things kind of like on a scheduled time frame and a regular basis, as far as we're probably going to come in and do a little shoot around in the morning and then let them go rest or come watch some games and then come back. But anytime your game schedule is around the same time, it's favorable.
Well, Coach, I don't have to keep you a whole lot longer, but we mentioned a few kids. Ruffin is going to be a key for you guys too, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think when we get Connor Palm back from his ankle injury, that'll help too. So
yeah, he hurt that game 3.
Yeah,
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night when we played West Prairie. Yeah, and he's still down with that, so we're trying to get him back. But
yeah, a couple weeks ago when I stopped in there after that, you had him icing it and getting it ready, and so still kind of banged up a little bit from that, huh?
Yeah, he tried to practice earlier this past week a little bit, and he just still can't go side to side, so we still shut him down again. And hey, we gotta, when you're not at 100%, you don't need to be out there making it worse. So
well, and it's a long season, right?
That's right. I mean, 28, 29 games. That's a long season, a long way to go.
Okay, Coach. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in and hanging out.
Thank you,
sorry you were here till next to last game.
That's all right. I'm just glad we're in the tournament. So.
Well, we're happy to have you. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
Coach Snyder talking to us from BPC. That leaves one game left on the docket, and I do believe both of these two coaches are here. Game number 8. It's the final game of the day on the opening day on December 26th, and it is Eureka and A-Town. And Coach Donor and Coach Link are both here. Come on up here, Coach Donor. We'll get him on the headset here as we've got our last game revealed, and Coach Donor has joined us under the headset now. Coach, you guys are kind of becoming a staple of this tournament, and you get the 8:30 game. I guess that's better than 9:30, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we'll take that extra hour for sure.
You guys come into the tournament always as a team that everybody's looking at. You know, they expect Eureka to be good. You know some people back from this area, I think, as kind of being some family from this area. So how much do you like this tournament?
Personally, I love coming over here. I mean, it's a chance to come back and just see some old faces and some people that I don't see very much, but I know, when I walk in the gym that first day, you're going to see some people, and the hosts, you guys do a great job of running it, and we really like it over here.
So you guys come in playing the last game, so it's a late game. We talked about the first game of the day after Christmas being maybe tough. That late 8:30 game, it passed a 9:30 game. Does Christmas scare you at all?
I mean, I think it's always kind of a challenge to how you're going to do it. Like, are you going to practice Christmas Eve, and then if you do play on the 26th, I think it's more just logistically leading up to it, like how you want it to look to make sure that your guys come out focused and fresh, and you want to show up and look good regardless of what the situation is. So.
Well, you've seen the entire bracket now. There's some pretty good matchups, I think, even in this first round. But you guys, if you could find your way past A-Town, West Hancock's a pretty good team. And then you got Macomb and Mercer County and Pitt. I mean, this is a pretty loaded bracket, it seems like.
Well, yeah, there's just a lot of good teams over here. And no matter what your path is, you're going to have to beat some good teams to get to that final day in the semis and stuff. So it's a really good bracket. A lot of good teams over here.
So I know that people are used to seeing Eureka here. You've had some really good players in the last few years. Anything expected to be different from your team this year than maybe what they've seen the last few?
I don't know. We've got I've got 3 seniors and only one of them that's been with me throughout. We've got a couple of new faces, a couple guys first year in the program, and then beyond that we have some younger guys that are, we're still trying to figure it out, and still trying to figure out what we're good at and things that need work and just need rep and just trying to gain experience and just trying to put it together to be competitive each night.
Obviously, you want to come over here and play a few games. You talked about logistics. What's the logistics like? Eureka is one of the farthest teams. It might be the farthest drive of the teams in a tournament this year. What's the logistics like for you guys?
I don't know. It just, over the next week or so, we'll just kind of look at it and look at the possibilities. And, with that later start time that first night, it gives us a chance to, possibly come in the gym earlier that day just to kind of walk through and talk through and then get over here, earlier in the day and be able to see a bunch of teams. And so it's just kind of I don't know, each year's different. And, it's a challenge, but it's also we've got time to prep for it and figure it out. And
you guys in the past have had the ability to get up and down the floor a little bit. But you've played pretty decent good defense at the same time. Is that what, as a team, you guys will be able to do again this year? I know you have some new faces, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're trying to get up and down the floor. We're trying to figure out right now kind of how to guard and at a high level and still be able to push ahead and do that. So yeah,
that's a lot harder thing to do than I think people think about sometimes. It's if you want to run, you still got to play the defense, but be able to get into that transition is not the easiest thing to do for some kids.
For sure. There's already things that we've kind of learned this year about ourselves, like things we thought we were maybe going to be able to do, and then once you see it on game night, like, hey, we can't get from there to there that quickly, and we're running hard. It's not that we're not running hard. It's just that's a really long run, and you just figure some things out along the way. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge.
As you look through the tournament this year, and you're here for another year, if you had to pick a game in this first bracket, you've been here the whole time. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick a game, what's going to be your favorite game to watch here in this first round? But we'll take yours out of the equation.
Okay,
obviously.
we'll take us out of the equation. I mean, there's a lot of good ones. The one that kind of jumped to me was that Mercer County-Pittsfield game. I think those are two good programs. They've had recent success, and I think they're both well coached, and that game to me is really intriguing.
And it's fun because those are two teams that maybe never have ever seen each other during the regular season, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of the cool thing about this holiday tournament basketball, and you get big tournaments like this.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, thank you very much. We appreciate you coming. Greatly appreciate it. We'll look forward to seeing you. We'll talk to you at halftimes of the games, and then when you win, we'll talk to you afterwards.
Okay.
You notice I said win. You win, right?
Yeah, we don't get to talk if we lose.
Yeah, no, I know.
I get it.
I'm just saying you're going to win. I was trying to imply you're going to win. I didn't mean it that way. We'll talk to both if we can catch you, but
Gotcha.
I was trying to imply that.
Gotcha.
I was giving you the boost to say you're going to win.
All right,
Coach Donor, thank you very much. We'll get Coach Link to come on up here now as we have one more team to talk to. Coach Corey Link from A-Town is here in the house. I think that somebody would surely say we're saving the best for last, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it'd be Coach Link or maybe Coach Link's wife would say best for last or whatever.
I don't think she'd say that.
You don't think she'd say that? No? Well, Coach Link, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. This has been a surprise for you as well. You guys didn't know the bracket until we released it either. You've been here quite a while waiting to get your name called, haven't you?
Last but not least. But, we've been waiting a while. I was kind of anticipating the 9 a.m. game, to be honest with you. But no, it's a little bit better than 9:30 at night, so we'll take 8:30.
8:30, it's a little later than a normal start, but not horribly later.
No, it's not bad. I think anybody would say that you'll take the late game over the early morning game especially the day after Christmas. But no, it's kind of waiting around, but we'll get the guys up and ready to go. So 8:30 is perfectly fine with us.
Plenty of time to do a shoot around, work off yesterday's Christmas cookies and everything else,
Santa's pleasures,
and get down here and watch a little basketball and get ready to go.
Yeah, we'll be ready to go. And I haven't seen much of Eureka, but it's gonna be a tough matchup for us. We got them a few years ago and gave them a really good game when they were really, really solid. But yeah, day after Christmas, you never know because you're not going to have anything the day before, so you're going to be a day off, and we'll see. But I'm kind of glad we got that late start to get a shoot around in and get the guys moving.
I think that A-Town surprised some people last year. You guys play a tough schedule all the time.
Yeah, it's heavy two-way. We don't play a whole lot of 1A teams. We kind of front-loaded. I give Reed Kelso a tough time about it, but I'm like, hey, it's nice to get some wins in there too. Not starting 3-10 or whatever it is, but no, we pride ourselves on kind of playing tough and competing, and then it kind of eases up in the LTC kind of battle tested, you know what that means, and then prepares us for regional time. But no, yeah, I think we surprised people last year, but it wasn't a surprise to us. I felt like you kind of had to put us in that, playing a seeded team last year. But I knew what we had, and I think the guys knew that we were going to be ready for whoever we had. And I feel the same way this year. We lost a lot, but we're very one through. We got 15 guys on the varsity team, and I feel comfortable playing about 15 of them. We don't have a stud, but we got guys that can compete and are going to play hard. And no matter what happens, we're going to be ready for it.
Well, you guys, I think are pretty decent. You gave West Hancock a pretty decent game at your place about a week ago now, I guess. So. Who are the names? I know that some of them are back, but you lost a couple too. So who are the names to expect to hear this year out of A-Town?
Yeah, Jacob Hall is the one senior that kind of is going to be big for us if he shows up on the night. We got a really good shot to win. And then Dre Anderson's playing point guard. He was the one starter we brought back from last year. He knows his role. Point guard first, going to handle the ball for us. Going to guard the guys. The other team's best player, So we kind of know what we're going to get from those two guys, and then it's just a lot of juniors that don't have a whole lot of varsity time. And there's not a whole lot of difference between those guys, but I know they're going to play hard, and it's just whoever going to click that night. And then we got a couple freshmen that are playing with us. Riker Darst is a guy that's going to probably see a lot. As a freshman, he's going to see a lot of time come WIU tournament. And past first point guard, he's just kind of a change of pace for us. We're looking big future for that guy.
The A-Town is kind of had a history of being hard-nosed. Even before you got there, you've continued that. I wouldn't expect anything different this year.
It is a little bit different. You know, it's as I'd say it's a change of pace. You know, I've been Toad Anderson was my coach. Coach Anderson at Macomb was my coach, and so it's the last few years.
Toad, that's a name that you don't hear very often anymore.
He defense first, you know, that's how it was, and so that's how it's been the last few years. And now we kind of got a group that's maybe not as physical as you would think with A-Town, but we're still gonna bang with you. We're still gonna try to beat you up a little bit, but we're trying to play a little quicker. We got a lot of guards. Even Jacob Hall, you know, he's about 6'2", but he's a string bean, you know, 130 pounds maybe. And so we're trying to play a little quicker, try to get a lot of shots up. So it's a little different than what you're used to with A-Town basketball, but we're still going to pride ourselves. Bare court, we're going to have to be ready to play, and you know, defense is going to win down here for sure.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you hanging out and talking to us. Thanks for coming down, and we'll look forward to seeing you in, what is it, a week and a half or so?
Week and a half, yep.
Yeah, you ready for that?
I'm ready.
You're gonna now. Do the coaches have to take it easy on Christmas Day now too, since game day is the next day? You have to eat a little less,
Not me. 8:30. I'm perfectly fine. I'll be well recovered. That 9 a.m. game, I was a little worried. I was texting her. I was telling my assistants, I'm like, if we get that game, we might have to be practicing. We might have to watch ourselves. But no, we'll be fine.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to take a break. That'll do it for the games. We'll come back with Justice Keene in just a minute. You're watching the Reveal Show live from Sports Corner at 124. We'll be back right after this.
Over the years, we've told you about the benefits of choosing Spoon River College.
Affordable.
Transferable credit.
Career ready.
A culture where students feel like they belong.
Wow, that brings a tear to my eye. And while all these are true, there seems to be one thing that, sticks. So let's give the people what they want to see.
Enrollment is now open.
And welcome back here. Justice Keene back on under the headset. And Justice, a great tournament has set up, and wanted to bring you back, especially you helped me open, but I wanted you to come back and look at the top and the bottom half of the bracket. You can see it behind us here. I pulled everything off, but you can see it a little bit better right here on the screen. There's the top half of the bracket. It's Brown County and Illini West, Rock Ridge, Camp Point, Peoria Christian and Farmington, and Liberty and Monrose.
Yeah, I really like this top bracket. You know, first of all, this 9 a.m. donut contest, I think that the donut contest obviously gets a bad rap. But Brown County, they're playing well. Coach Jeff has got a great team. He's doing great things up at Brown County. Illini West Coach Kimmel, they play hard. They play up and down. That's going to be a really good matchup to start the day.
Could be a 25-25 game because both teams want to play defense.
Yes.
And they're both going to be a little heavy from Christmas dinner.
They are. Absolutely. Everybody is. Everybody is, right? Second game, Rock Ridge, Camp Point. Rock Ridge is a top seed. Camp Point not having the start to the season they want, but coming into Christmas, it's anybody's ball game on that December 26th. You know, everybody, again, coming off the Christmas break. I like that for the second game. Rock Ridge obviously going to be the favorite, but Camp Point, and upsets are always lurking on that first day.
They're a group of kids that are used to winning, right?
Yes.
And they're used to winning basketball games, not just football games. So when you have a group of kids that are used to winning and they come out and they play their game, you never know what could happen.
Absolutely. And then we go Peoria Christian and Farmington. Love this matchup. This might be my favorite of the morning session here. Peoria Christian, I saw them in the summer. We played them in Farmington Summer League. They get up and down the floor. They get in your face. They play fast. Farmington, we saw them at the hangar the other night. They played Macomb. Same thing. Jack Wheelwright's back for Farmington. Great Farmington football player. Their success on the football team, it's kind of translating into basketball now. They're getting their basketball legs, and it's a good time to do so.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think that they came in with, I think, a 2-4 record to Macomb the other night, and that's not normal for Farmington to have a 2-4 basketball record. But they played so long in the football season. They started playing basketball. I remember back in the day when Northwestern La Harpe was playing in the postseason, real deep in the postseason. They played the championship football game, and there was 3 of their kids that came back to Bush. They played the morning game. 3 of their kids came back and played in the Bushnell Tip-Off Classic that night. I mean, it takes you a few weeks to get true basketball shape.
It does, and again, congratulations to Coach Valles and Farmington football. They were a heck of a lot of fun to watch down the stretch, and yeah, it takes time. You got to get used to your basketball legs and get to playing, get the system ready to go, and then once you get to late December, you get rolling.
You get the injuries healed and the bruises and bangs and whatever else you have going on all healed up and get ready to go. And then Liberty and Monrose is a game that I think could be fun too, because you got a new coach.
It's the battle of the new coaches.
Yeah, a new coach and a new coach, one of which isn't a new, but he is a new, Coach Grant.
Yeah, Coach Grant, Coach Sparrow, 2 programs that have had a lot of success in this tournament. Obviously, Chuck Grant has won this tournament before, back in the early 2000s with Monmouth. So I'm excited to have both of them back on the sidelines. They both do a good job, and of course, I've known Coach Grant for a long time. Great guy, and that'll be a fun matchup to end the morning session there. And again, anybody's ball game, and 2 teams that are going to battle it out until the very end.
Yeah, I told him when I was talking to him, I was surprised. He goes, "You weren't any more surprised than I was that he was back coaching again at Monmouth Roseville." But I know you get good people. It's great to get good people back into a program. And Coach Grant's a great guy.
He is, and he runs his program the right way. Knows game of basketball very, very well, experienced it, seen it. He's got a great staff, and Coach Soto's did a great job. Obviously, he left for a work conflict, and I know he's still helping out when he can, and a lot of respect for that program, and he still looks good in his suit and tie these days on the sideline.
Yeah, and you know what? They had a pretty good football season themselves.
They did. Coach Aldolfson, kudos to him as well. I mean, they played into the playoffs, and all things are rolling good up there in Monmouth.
Yep, and so now we look at the bottom half of the bracket. It starts with Mercer County and Pittsfield, and there's a game that I think is fun because Mercer County's brand new to the tournament. Pittsfield's an old mainstay of the tournament, but I don't know that these 2 schools maybe have ever played each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look into that. This is a good little matchup here. Obviously, Mercer County new to the tournament. They'll get their first look at the floor at Western Hall, which is always exciting. I think, that's one of the marquee parts of this tournament, right? You get to play on the college campus. And, of course, Coach Tom Haven, Pittsfield, they're a team that comes hungry every year to this tournament. And it doesn't matter if they're in the consolation side or the championship side. Those kids are going to play hard for 4 quarters.
And the second game of that day of the afternoon session, which is only 2 sessions now, is number 4 Macomb and Canton, which there's a couple teams that not necessarily unfamiliar with each other, but don't play a ton either.
Yeah, this is a team we always typically see at Macomb before the holiday tournament, so it's a matchup that is kind of new, obviously, because the rule is that you don't play someone you play before the holiday tournament. So this will be a fun little matchup. Canton under Coach Gersnich over there, he does a great job. He's a long-time coach, obviously going back to Spoon River days when he had some really good teams there. But I like this matchup. Macomb's coming in on they'll play Liberty and Scales Mound, and Canton, I'm sure, has a couple games this week as well. But like this matchup for Macomb, and it's a good start to the tournament for them.
Yeah, and, Canton's a team that's a little bit bigger school. That, even if they're not having a great year, they could still sneak up and bite teams occasionally.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that their record doesn't define them. I think you look at who they play. They're playing the Metamoras of the world. They're playing the Limestones of the world, East Peorias. Of course, that's where Coach Gersnich was coaching for a long time, East Peoria. And, they're a team. Don't look at their record because they're going to come at you for 4 quarters.
That's right. I agree with that. Then BPC, welcome back to the tournament. Here's the number 1 seed, West Hancock, and unfortunately for BPC, they're playing a really almost a juggernaut kind of team. I don't think there was any question that West Hancock was going to be the number 1 seed.
No question about it. And, of course, all eyes are on the Great Western Shootout this upcoming weekend up in Abingdon. We're going to see West Hancock and Peoria Manual. Of course, that, unfortunately, we found out earlier this week that's not going to be a sectional matchup, which, of course, everybody's wondering how that would play out. West Hancock obviously going to go the other way with the Q&D is on that side. Macomb back into the subsectional with Peoria Manual. But, West Hancock, very talented team. Coach Dahl's got it rolling over there. And BPC, of course, the local addition to the tournament. They were back in the early 2000s. And it'll be good having BPC back in the tournament. And, again, West Hancock going to be the team to beat in this tournament.
Yeah, and I'm not saying BPC is going to beat West Hancock or maybe even give West Hancock a game, but you look at this game and you expect West Hancock to be the controlling force in this game. Those are the kinds of games that, if the wrong thing happens, can sneak up and bite you.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you look at upsets are always lurking, and it'll be a good test for both teams. It's good for the Bushnell kids to play the 2A schools and get something under their feet, face that type of competition, and it's a good opener for West Hancock too to try to get things rolling here early in the tournament.
And the final game of the day, I think, could be a good game as well. Eureka and A-Town.
Yeah, Eureka, obviously, Coach Donor, known him for a long, long time, and then my old man has well. Of course, his dad, former tournament MVP, Mark Donor, 76, I believe. So the Donor family, rich basketball tradition, and then A-Town under Coach Link. He's been there for a while in time. He played for Coach Anderson when Coach Anderson was coaching the Commandos back in the day, right. A-Town or Abingdon Commandos.
I still mess up and say Commandos occasionally when I'm up there.
The former red wall in that gym, and A-Town used to have the good look with the red. Of course, now they're the Tornadoes. But, that's a good little matchup there to end the day. Eureka is always a team that's, quote-unquote, not very seen coming into the tournament because they're from out of the area, but I was talking to Coach Donor, and that's what he loves about this tournament. You're playing teams that they don't typically see, and Abingdon, obviously a team that played well in the tournament last year, went down to the consolation bracket. They played Macomb in the second round last year, and that was an exciting matchup, tight down the stretch.
Yeah, A-Town always seems to step it up for this tournament, don't they?
100%. They're an exciting team to watch. I remember a couple of years ago where they hadn't won many games coming into the tournament, but they played their way right into a trophy game and a trophy bracket, and they're a team to watch out for.
So as you look through this bracket, what's your overall consensus for this bracket?
Very, very excited. Of course, I think the committee did a good job. Obviously, West Hancock, they were the overall one. I like Macomb at 4. I like Rock Ridge at 3. Peoria Christian in there too. I feel like we say it every year, this is going to be the best tournament yet because it's loaded. And, I mean, this really could be anybody's tournament. I mean, so many teams are playing good basketball right now, and I think even when we get to the consolation side, there's potential for some good matchups there as well. I don't think there's really going to be a bad game in this tournament.
Well, I think that the first matchup, Brown County and Illini West, those are both schools that I think were playing possibly for this number 4 seed. Eureka was probably in that mix as well. Mercer County was early. They kind of have had a struggle the last week or so, but that 3-4 seed could have went to a lot of different people.
100%. And that's just one of the hard things the committee has to do in their seeding this tournament. Obviously, it's not like a Beardstown tournament with the girls' side where you're seeding everybody. You're just seeding the top 4. And it's a tough job. And, again, I don't think a seed necessarily defines you. And I think that's what, of course, every team comes in with the look of it. But 4 solid teams there in the seeded games, and it's going to be exciting. I say every year there's always a team that is lurking for an upset. There's always a dark horse, and it'll be interesting to see who that team ends up being.
We got the board from last year over there. Macomb was almost that team last year.
They were. Obviously, Macomb was unranked coming in. You had Camp Point at the 1. They were playing strong basketball. Bluffs at 2, Rock Ridge at 3, and then Pittsfield was the 4. And Macomb played with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. They hadn't been in a championship in 12, 13 years at the time, and played their way through it. Abingdon, Brown County.
West
Hancock in there as well. Camp Point, they beat the 1 in the semis, and then, of course, lost to Rock Ridge in the championship. But Macomb would end up winning the game and mattered a little bit more
later in the year.
Yeah, no disrespect to Rock Ridge. Obviously, a lot of respect for Coach Harris and Brock Boehner over there as their AD, but the Bombers got the one that meant a little more at the end of the year.
Yeah, it didn't mean that. It didn't mean more at the time, but it meant more later. So
it did.
That's for sure. Well, we'll take our final break. We'll come back with Mr. Sullivan, Brian Sullivan, going to come up and talk to us a little bit. The statistician, the man that knows all about the tournament.
That's right.
I want to say hi to Chris Derry, who's I'm sure watching still back in Bloomington. He's the man behind the website and everything, all the social media. So I want to say hi to him as well. We'll take our final break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. You're watching the Macomb-Western Holiday Tournament Reveal Show live from Sports Corner at 124. We'll be right back.
At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there's limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
When I walk in and talk to my patients, I like my patients first and foremost to feel comfortable. I like to keep it real with them. I like them to know that I'm there to listen to them and to help them understand some of the processes that they may be going through. The most rewarding aspect that I feel with caring for patients is when those patients come back in and they tell me how much better they feel for something that I have helped them accomplish in their healthcare.
And welcome back. This is going to close it out. Brian Sullivan joining us. You take the stripes off for this deal. That's a pretty, for a referee, the holiday tournaments are a big deal, and you take the stripes off for this thing.
It's actually kind of nice for me. Instead of going every single night roughing, I just take a couple days off and watch some other guys work out there.
It's not all bad, but you do plenty of work in this deal too. It's not all fun and games and just watching.
No, we're there every game and watching every single play and making sure all the stats are up to date in the computer, and then also helping with some other things that come up as the tournament goes along.
So it's really not any different. You're just not running. You watch every play. Your legs get a little rest.
There's a lot less running.
Yeah, a lot less running. This tournament, you've got the sheet there, and I've got. I'll pull up the bracket to show the complete bracket here, but the complete bracket's on the screen. You've got it in front of you. I think a really good tournament this year.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a lot of people with West Hancock not playing in the Bushnell tournament this year, that's kind of opened up a lot of question marks. Not that people are wondering if West Hancock should be the number one seed. I think a lot of people were in agreement on that one. Yeah. But less people have seen them play.
Right.
So I think a lot of people are pretty excited to see West Hancock play because just of all the talent they have on that squad. You've got a coach that's won a state championship before. So they're the team that people are looking at to win this thing. But we've got a lot of other teams here that think they can knock them off.
Well, in the middle, if they're right and everybody thinks that they're the number one seed, I think 2 through about 8 or 10 is up for grabs.
Well, I think you look at those first two teams right at the top of the bracket between Brown County and Illini West. I think Brown County had a really good shot at being seeded not even 4, but even higher than that. They had a really great showing in Beerstown, winning that tournament. And then they had back-to-back losses there. I know that one of their key players, Carter Havens, did not play at the second time they played Winchester West Central, so that I don't want to take anything away from West Central. They're a good ball club too, but that definitely handcuffed Brown County in that matchup. So they've had a couple they took all last week off. So I think that Illini West, they won the Bushnell tip-off tournament. So you got two teams right off the bat that are not seeded that came out of the gates winning their tournament.
Right.
So that just kind of shows you the strength, I think, of this field, just the middle part of it. You got two teams like that have won Thanksgiving tournaments that didn't get seeded. You know, Illini West, they have the 2 losses to Macomb, so that's why Macomb got in there. But, you've talked about it all night about how close that all was, trying to juggle those teams being seeded.
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things about this is only seeding 4. It allows you to kind of get teams together, and one of the cool things is with Peoria Christian, Mercer County coming into the tournament this year, I think that it's allowed some matchups. One of the cool ones that I like is this one, Mercer County and Pittsfield, because I don't know that those teams have ever seen each other, and they get to see each other at this tournament.
I think so too. There you've got a big mismatch of styles. Although having seen Pittsfield play this year, it's a little faster than what we have seen in the past. They want to try to shoot a little more 3-pointers and run the floor a little more. I know Mirko likes to run a little bit too, so that is a pretty exciting matchup. And like you said, teams that don't normally see each other.
Yeah, but Coach Donor likes that, but from Eureka, and there's a lot of that. And Peoria Christian coming up, most of these schools don't ever see Peoria Christian either.
And a lot of the fans around the area don't see them too.
Right.
They have they've had some deep postseason runs lately. I think they played in Abingdon in the sectional last year. They had some people might have seen that game, and they have a star player on their team too that people are going to want to watch play as well. So I think a lot of people should come out and watch that game, and they do have a familiar opponent in the first round.
Yes, they do, and they'll see them later in the year too. Those two teams play later in the season, so this is kind of a setup for that, I think, too.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation there. Farmington is not a stranger to the tournament. They're not a stranger to winning a lot of games in the tournament. So I think for a seeded Peoria Christian team and Farmington, that has a little juice to it for the first round.
Yeah, Coach Lozier said he likes going to Peoria Christian late in the season because it's like a playoff atmosphere every time you go there. They have a great crowd, and so that hopefully that crowd comes and we can get that kind of an atmosphere at the holiday tournament. And you guys have switched, mentioning that, getting the crowd here. You switched to that two segments this year rather than having 3. Allows people to come watch an extra game for your entry, right? Plus, it allows you to get out a little earlier. Maybe that last game and that first game have a few more people able to come watch.
We are trying to listen to people with it. I mean, there's a lot of things that get posted out there that we kind of ignore. But one of the things that we have heard from a lot of people is, hey, that championship game that last night is starting too late. Well, okay, so I think fans should be excited about this, about how we've put the 4 games and then a break and then the 4 games to kind of help with that, moving that last game up an hour, and then also you're getting more bang for your buck. You come in and you can stay there for 4 games and not get kicked out.
Well, I mentioned Chris Derry before you came on. He does the website and all that stuff, and what about all the stuff he incorporates into that website? One of the things being is all the stuff you do, which is the stats.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of content, and that's a big part. I think hopefully, people appreciate that. I think they do. I think the coaches appreciate it. I think that adds a lot of prestige to the tournament. But Chris does so much work. He's been working on the website and preparing the program and preparing everything for tonight well in advance. I don't think people really realize how much he puts into it months before the tournament even begins. And then he's there all 3 days, and he writes most of the game recaps and
social media updates.
Absolutely. So it's a huge operation. He didn't create the website, but he definitely has taken the website to
new heights
that people didn't see possible when we first created it a long time ago.
Right. Talk about the stats. Why do you feel like, I don't know how many tournaments do the stats at the level of the Macomb-Western Holiday Tournaments does the stats. Why is that important?
I think it's more of a college feel. I mean, when you have a college game there at Western, that they expect, hey, we're going to get a printout of the stats every time out at halftime. We're going to get it delivered. And so that's just a fun service that I think we can provide. And then I think a lot of fans enjoy coming and looking at, oh, yeah, so-and-so had 20 points, or we post them on the wall, and everybody can kind of congregate there and look and see who the top players are and who's doing what.
Well, and the other thing is I believe this year we're using Western. We're going to broadcast again with Western's equipment, so that'll be a lot of fun. But I think we've figured out with Will Thomas's help, we're going to be able to incorporate the stats into game time stuff too.
That's fantastic.
So we'll be able to do halftime stats on the screen and do a few things like that. At least that's the plan anyway as the week goes along. So
good job, Will. You're doing great shit. Great, thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate everything you do because you put a lot of time in there, and it's not just you, right? There's some people that help you along with that deal too. Right?
I'm lucky to have a lot of the same people come back every year to help, and we have a pretty good group that has been doing it for quite a few years. I started when I was in 8th grade doing the stats at this tournament, and have been doing it every year since.
So that's not that you're not that old, so it's not that many years.
No,
but
just 5 years.
Yeah. So just 4 or 3 or what? 2? You're just a freshman in college, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like
you've just been refereeing since you were in 6th grade.
I was the first official to ever start when they were 5 years old.
Yeah.
That's how I've gotten so many years in.
Well, before I let you go, before we end this, what should people expect out of this year's tournament?
I think that you've got just overall, you're going to have a lot of enthusiasm. You have a lot of teams that look forward to this. A lot of players look forward to this all year. And with it being the day after Christmas, I think that people are going to be ready to show what they've got. We've got 3 teams that are ranked in the top of their respective classes, and it's just going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you for hopping on here at the end. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
That's
Dwayne.
going to do it for the 2024 Macomb-Western Holiday Tournament Bracket Reveal Show. We've been here live at Sports Corner at 124. I want to thank Johnny McKee and Brian Kerr and all the staff here. They're always so hospitable and helping us out and letting us have the corner of the area to get things going and get things done. So that'll do it. The bracket is right here on the wall. You can check it out at Macomb or at holidaybasketball.com, and the bracket will be there. I think Chris probably already has it up, I bet.
I would bet he does. If not, he'll have it up real soon.
He'll have it up real soon. So thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll talk to you at about 8:50 on December 26th as the tournament kicks off with Brown County and Illini West. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again very soon.